Can you hear
There
me?
it is. Are we live?
Okay.
Yeah. Are we live? Hi, Cooley. I want to go live
I can
first.
you hear me? Okay? You,
I can hear you. Can you hear
you
me
hear
all
me
right?
okay? Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes.
Stu, are we good?
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Where is he? I should be able to hear him. Can I hear you?
It says we're in the show right now.
All right.
Everyone can see us and hear you.
Hi, Cooley. So good to see you. That's all I want to say first. It has been so long. Everybody, this is Cooley Bop
What's
Jackson.
up?
Say hello, give him a round of applause from wherever you're at. This guy has done so many things in his career, and I'm
Well,
so proud of him. And it's been so many years since I've seen you. I can't even remember the last time I saw you. So, Cooley, we're going to start with
yeah.
okay, let's, um,
Probably
all right,
Breakin.
you've done so much. Give us a little basic rundown of the main things that you've done. All right, from the word straight from the horse's mouth.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay. Like I said before, there's three major things. Um, wow. I guess it all started, back in high school when you remember how we was in school, we put all our little groups together, like you had what was the LA lockers or something like that, the dance group you had. And
Right.
so we was in Orange County and we put our group together. It was the Dynamite Kids. And we started dancing at churches and conventions and things like that. And when we performed for a church, they paid us $100. We did a 5-minute routine. I said, okay, this is what we want to do. This is our career. And
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
start of it. That's how I met Casper and got him in the group. And then Casper and I went on and started the Dynamic Boppers. And
So you and Casper are
it just
childhood.
started growing from there. Us dancing on Soul Train.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Casper and
Casper
I,
was.
it's interesting story. He had a group called Casper and the Kids,
Mhm.
and I was in a group called the Dynamite Kids. So
Okay.
for everybody out there, we're like the Dynamite People. He's the other half of me. And
Yeah.
so he was with Casper and the Kids, and a lot of people kept saying, this guy named Cooley and the Dynamite Kids said he could beat you dancing. And then people were telling him the same thing. And so one
Okay.
day we was walking down the street and we met up with each other, and we looked at each other. I said, so I hear that you said you can, outdance me. He said, I heard you said you can outdance me. And then we started laughing. And we
Uh,
never danced against each other, and we became friends that point on. And then from that point on, we had each other back and became the dynamic duo.
right. Okay. What about before that? I want to go back just a little bit. Like when you were little, when is the first time you or your parents realized that
Way
you're
back.
going to be able
You want to go back that far? I was in the fourth grade, I guess. I mean,
to? Okay.
we could still go back further than that, but the
Mhm.
fourth grade is when I came from Detroit, and my mother moved to Orange County, and there was
Mhm.
a talent show at Monte Vista High School in Orange County, and I wanted to enter it, not knowing what I was going to do. And it's a
Mhm.
funny thing. It's at the time I really couldn't understand big words on records and stuff, and so I would take the 45 records, put them on, listen to it, and I had a pile for the songs I liked and a pile for the
Oh,
songs I didn't like. And
right.
so one song came up was Quincy Jones called Money Runner. And
Oh.
if you could Google it and listen to it. And I just did a dance routine with it. I had a pink shirt, white pants, and a sash, like a pink sash. And I ended up winning. And feel that audience participation and applause and like that. I said, I want to dance. And that was my first, you might as well say, Cupid arrow that made me say,
Right.
okay, I want to dance. And
Yeah.
then next year, my mother made
Right.
a costume. I still have it, matter of fact, all white fur,
Kidding.
the white apple hat,
What?
and
That's
I danced to the machine. Then
oh.
I
Now
won
go
the
into a
Jackson
music.
5.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. I think that's wonderful. So you were
Uh,
about what? How old were you?
yeah, thank you.
How old were you?
I was
Cooley,
in the
can you hear me?
fourth grade, so
Fourth
what's
grade.
that?
So
About
10?
12, Yeah, around 10, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah, I have
I made up all the dance moves. I wasn't locking or popping. I wasn't locking or popping. Obviously, it wasn't popping, but I wasn't locking. Then I was just doing Jackson 5 steps, and side to
mhm.
side leg up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we saw the lockers on Dick Van Dyke show,
Wow.
and I was very inspired. Said, what are you doing? And I learned how to do the mule kicks, dive
Uh-huh.
and do the roll on your stomach.
Right, right.
What else did we? The coffee grinder and how to do the alpha. And now I
Uh,
only knew how to do 4 steps. So we
wow.
dance. Now we go down and do the dance move and get up and dance and do it again. And now basically our solos. And
Right,
so we
right.
started growing. And then I taught myself how to do a handspring.
Uh-huh.
And once I learned how to do that, I was building my category on how to dance. Then we started doing it on roller skates and we were just building, building, building. So when we got our
Oh,
group together, it was about we all had different strengths. So
uh-huh.
Casper's strength was like robot and stuff like that. It was called Clinking Casper. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
basically a flyer. Like Brian used to pitch me up in the air and I used to do the flips and we used to do
Yeah.
3 in a row, just
Wow.
like that. So we were known to hit every aspect of dancing as street dancers. And we always capitalized and told people we're not trained dancers. We're just city kids that's actually
Wow.
dancing.
You
And
taught
that
your
is, I think, was the promotion behind it.
That's great. That's wonderful. So you're basically self-taught. I thought perhaps you had gone to gymnastics classes. I was telling Stu, like maybe he's taken gymnastics classes or something just to learn how to flip because there's a certain amount of like energy it takes to do that. You know what I mean? And you were self-taught,
Well,
so that
I
means
was
you
in,
got a
I
great
was in
eye,
the
man.
track.
You figured
I was
it
in
out.
the track.
Shoot, and then you
I'm
ended
a high jump,
your career. That's fantastic.
right?
Fantastic. Did you have a question,
And
Stu?
being a high jumper, um, I
Uh-huh.
used to
Go ahead.
do back handsprings and backflips on the high jump pit. So that's how I got the
Right.
rhythm and the coordination. I just took it to the ground eventually when I got the courage.
Wow. Wow. And that's like that's not easy to do, you know? You had to practice a lot for that, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now I want
Well,
to skip a little bit forward. I want to ask you about the Power Rangers. Like, how did you get into that specifically? I just need to
oh,
know how
sure.
you got into that, what the audition was like, and what did you do? Was it just a stage play or was it the series? Which
Well,
was it?
First of all, I met Walter Jones when I was doing the show in Vegas through another performer singer. She was friends with Walter, and from that point on,
Uh-huh.
I auditioned for the Power Ranger show at Universal Studios. Then I ended up being understudy for Jason Frank.
Uh-huh.
So what happened? Jason Frank used to leave. I used to dress up as a ranger and
Uh-huh.
do all the pickup shots. And so a lot of people don't know
Wow.
about that, but that was what I started doing. Then I went on a cruise ship,
Hmm.
and one Anita
Wow.
Man, she had she was had a lot of dancers that did cruise ship jobs. I was on cruise ship job, and Anita said they want you to do a stage show of the Power Rangers. So obviously, I was a candidate because I have worked with Saban. So I left the cruise ship,
Mm-hmm.
Luann, went straight to where was it? It was the Garment District. I think that's where it was in that area in Santa Monica. I think it was Garment District. It wasn't really LA, but it was
Okay.
kind of like that because I'm from Orange County, so I know a little bit of all that. And
Mm.
I went up these stairs and I tried on the outfit, and I was going to be the Red Ranger, and they said no, we want you to Jason Frank. He's transferring from the Green Ranger to the White Ranger, so the White Ranger is the one that's going to be the star of it. So they had me try on the whole white
Mhm.
outfit and the whole vest, and they said, "Can you flip it?" I said, "I'm sure I can," and just kept on going. And then they said we're going to do it's so popular, we're going to do 2 coasts. We're going to do the East Coast and the West Coast. So I transferred over from being
Mm.
an understudy to being a lead ranger for the
Wow.
East Coast cast for
Ah,
2.5 years. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
reasoning, they don't tell you details, but the reasoning behind it, because I was already affiliated with the whole
Mm-hmm.
situation, because I didn't audition.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting the job. So
Wow.
it's not like I had to
That's
audition against all these other guys. Everybody else probably did, but I bought in and was here. We want you to do this.
So you know what we're going to have to do? We're
Yeah.
going to have your partner on, you and your partner, to talk about some of the things that you did together, over the years. Is he
Yeah, that'll
around
be.
still? Is he still dancing?
Oh, Jasper is still in the mix. He, we hit each other up on holidays, and whenever he's available,
That's
if I'm in Southern California, because I'm in Northern California right now.
like brother. He's like your
So I
brother.
got a house out here in a city called Lincoln. It's about 30 minutes from Sacramento.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I'm only child, so he's literally like my other.
Yeah, fantastic. Your audio is breaking up just a little bit. I can barely hear him still. Just so
A
you
little
know.
bit.
Okay, and then I wanted to ask too. Okay, so
Okay, let me
Cooley,
make. Can you hear me
there's
better?
stuff coming up, and of course it's different than it was, back then. Getting into stuff and things have changed, music's changed, everything's changed. So, what
You're
is the
breaking up.
direction is going now for the younger kids in that business? Do you think that they should go about the same way that you did? Do you think they should go take classes to get into the professional field? What do you have? What suggestions do you have for like young dancers coming up that want to do what you've done or something similar?
It's a different time and different era. We was laying the format and the ground for all dancers, and it was easy because no one knew of it. It was something new. Um, if you
Mm,
were in your city, it stayed in your city. Um, it's
mm,
harder for new performers and dancers because we got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got Facebook, and etc. They have
yeah,
other formats,
the
and then
internet.
everybody wants to be a star. So back then, we didn't
Yeah.
have any of that. We had to do it the original old school way, is just churches,
Mm,
parks, and then we were fortunate enough to have
yeah.
the Gong Show, Kicks, Hot City. The list goes on and on and on. So my advice to
Hmm.
them is to stick. I always say this: stick and stay and make it pay. Stick with your dream, no matter what it
Yeah.
is. Make it pay off,
Yeah.
and just do good and do right. It's hard in this day and age because a lot of people thirst for talent. So it's a lot of TikTokers and people like that who really can't dance, but they do something funny or whatever, and then it becomes this little everybody's doing it and it blows up.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to look at
Hmm.
Soul Train, which, as you know, I was a Soul Train dancer. And if you want to learn the newest and greatest
Congregate around
dance,
the.
you look at and you learn the WAP, you know what I mean? The Cabbage Patch, you learn a lot of different dance steps and you get the correct names, and then people will copy them, and then it becomes this whole dance craze,
Mhm.
and then you
Yeah.
connect your dances together and you end up with your groups and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now on TikTok, they do,
Yeah.
I don't want to put anybody down, but they're not really doing what we did,
Mhm.
and that's all they can follow and have to uh, and broaden their career in dance.
Mm.
So it's just
Yeah.
completely different. So my advice is to stick with what you want to do in your dream and stay with it, and then make
Mhm.
it pay off.
Amen. And thank you to the Almighty for bringing us here today. I always say that. Just wanted to say that again. Stop saying thank you.
Did you get all that okay?
Right, right. And so, okay, now I want to ask you another question here. What was it like? Did you have a family as you were doing this, or did you wait until after? Excuse me, sorry, my phone is flipping. Oh, did you wait till after to have your family, and how did that affect?
Well,
Did you?
my family started in high school. My first
Uh,
child, my
yeah.
oldest son. I have 5 kids. My
Wow.
youngest is soon to be 2,
Oh my
and
goodness.
my oldest is 44.
Awesome.
44. Yeah.
That
And
you're
but
affected.
my kids are wonderful. I have one
Yeah.
girl and
Uh-huh.
4 boys.
Oh my goodness.
And
She's spoiled
so
rotten.
I would say that, oh, but she'll be 31,
Wow.
and she is a former cowboy cheerleader, 6 year
Wow.
cowboy cheerleader.
Yes, I
So
think I saw.
she followed
Um,
following my footsteps.
oh, that's
Uh-huh.
wonderful. That's
Um, to
fantastic.
answer your
Now, is her
answer your
or does any,
question,
pardon? Does any of your,
say it
do
again.
they dance? Oh, or can you hear me all right? I know the audio is kind of interesting. Do any of your other children dance or
Yeah.
just the one?
Um, all my kids, except for my oldest,
Hmm.
all are into the entertainment field, like they act, dance, or
Wow,
sing.
really?
So, so
Wonderful.
yeah, they do.
Tell us.
Like one of my one of my sons in the Air Force. One of my sons in the Air Force, and he went in for a part for Hamilton, which was their little theater, and he
Yes.
ended up getting the lead role. And he didn't even want the lead role. He ended up getting it. So
Nice.
things like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. I remember back in the day, that was kind of the thing to do. If you had children, try to get them work. And I had a little composite done for my daughter and tried to get her like Kodak commercials, diaper commercials, whatever, because she was the cutest thing. But just the thought of me going and doing that was just so hilarious now compared to then, because I just remember being hot and in LA and Hollywood, going from audition to audition, trying to get her work. And she was just oblivious. She didn't know. She was just cute and sitting there, but it's a lot of work, when you do have children in the industry,
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good
Well,
that you support
my
your,
two
pardon?
yeah my 2-year-old, we do that with him,
Hmm.
and he's such a character. He's
It's
cute
a
as a
work.
button. You know.
I mean, happy to your wife, because that is a lot of work. It is. It is, but it's worth
Yeah,
it. Also, they can, when they grow up, they can look back and see something that their parents helped them to do, in the industry.
that's
That's
right.
fantastic. All right, so let's see. We've
Thank you.
talked about everything. We haven't talked about Solid Gold. How were the auditions for the very first Solid Gold? And did you have to audition every year? That's what I want to know. Those two things.
That's so funny because not being a person to brag or anything, but I never auditioned. I was given the job. Um,
Wow.
I I kind of auditioned, but not really. Let me explain. This is a little bit of a story, so hopefully you can hear me very well on this one.
Now the audio's
Um,
better.
Jeffrey Daniels, you know,
Yeah.
uh, Casper and I taught Jeffrey Daniels how to do popping and the backslide, which is the moonwalk. And as you know,
Wow.
Casper and I taught Michael as well. So
Wow.
Jeffrey started a group with the Electric Boogaloo's and the Dynamic Boppers. He took Casper and I, and then Pete, Skeet, and Dane, and
Mm,
then Brenda from Soul Train. He started a singing group called Eclipse, and we was going to be on Solar Records and etc. So we was getting ready to come out.
really?
Like you said, I had a child, which is my son, Bill Tranian, and
Hmm.
I had to pay child support and go through that whole thing. So I auditioned for Tony Basil's show in London,
Hmm.
and Tony Basil hired me out of Casper, and it was just for 1 month. But we were signed with Jeffrey under Solar,
Uh,
so but I had to make money, so I went anyway and did it. Wayne Ward and I, and
hmm.
came back. Jeffrey wasn't happy. I went to the house. Everybody was in there watching TV. Jeffrey called me in his room, sat down and
Hmm.
said, I'm gonna have to let you go out of the group. And I was just so disappointed. And I was like, really,
Oh,
man? But trying to explain my whole thing. Sugar Pop
uh,
ended up taking my place. Stoney Jackson was there. And that night, they filmed Beat It with Michael Jackson.
oh,
So
oh,
I didn't get a chance
man.
to beat it because kicked out. So I hit the low, low, low. So we was
Uh,
at a couple of weeks went by, and I was like fourth, and everybody was there, and the whole group and stuff. And I was real quiet, and I was outside, and I was just sitting there. And my friend now, Rodney Johnson, came through. He's trying to find a dancer to go back to Japan. So I said,
mhm,
"What the hell? I'll go back there with you." So I went to Japan for like
mhm,
3 months, made about $20,000,
mhm,
came back to renew my visa.
mhm.
Alpha, Anita Mann, who Alpha used to do the street dancing for Anita. I just found this out later talking to Alpha.
Huh.
Wanted her, wanted him to try out for Solid Gold because they was looking for a street dancer.
Oh,
And Alpha said, "Oh no, I can't do that." And then she said, "Can you suggest somebody?" She said, "You should call Cooley. Cooley's the only one I know who can do every style of dancing, roller skates, backflips, etc." So timing happened as I came back for Japan to renew my visa.
right.
Anita calls me and we talked and said, "Can you come down to KTLA?" And I said, "Sure." So I went there, Solid Gold set. And
Mhm.
so Solid Gold dancers were there. And then Deputy showed up, and then Mr. X, he was
Mhm.
the one that had the toothbrush, bald head guy on Soul Train. And
Oh, okay.
she said, "Okay, you guys, huh? What'd you say?"
I said, I'm keeping up with you.
Okay. And so it was three of us, and
Right.
Anita brought in all the executive producers and everybody from Solid Gold, Bob Banner, Brad Lockman, and Lou Horowitz, the director, all the big names. And she came over to, she said, "I just want you guys to dance. Just do what you do." She put some music on. The Solid Gold dancers all sitting on the floor. It was three big mirrors there. We got on the Solid Gold main stage, and we did what we did. Seemed like it
Mhm.
was forever, but it must have been about for maybe 2 minutes, if that. You know how it is being a street dancer. You do a couple of steps, and you're like, "Okay, well, I got a lot of time to kill." So
Right. That's a
I
lot
I'm
of
a
time stretched
trickster. I
out.
do a lot of tricks. Billy does a lot of tricks too, but he
Right.
doesn't backflip and do all that stuff. I do it a little bit more. And so I'm huffing and puffing, breathing. They get into this. It's like maybe about 20 of them. I mean, it's a lot of big Zacks. She walks over to me. She said, "Mr. X Deputy, we're going to be doing a lot of specials. We'd like for you to do some guest appearances," and et cetera, et cetera. "Cooley, we'd like to try you out and give you the job if you would like it. And I'd like you to join the dancers and learn this opening routine." And I was like, first thing that came to my mind was, I got to go back to Japan. I'm in a whole with this
Situation. Yeah.
Japanese guy who's paying me all this money in his
Yeah.
clubs, and now I'm back on top. The
Right.
Eclipse at
Right.
that time was in Europe, and they're opening up for Wham and stuff like that, so they're taking off. And I said,
Wow.
"What the hell?" I went and I learned the opening and closing.
Wow.
That night, I flew back to Japan. I had to pay my way out of my agreement with the head person. Came back, learned
Wow.
routine, and it was the opening, closing, and a couple of routines. And I pick
Mhm.
up real quick, real fast. My learner, no jazz experience until this day. People is saying there's no way you had no training because you're keeping up with,
Right.
with professional dancers. I'm like,
I totally thought
it's the
you were
grace
like,
of God because
that's awesome.
everybody did, and everything you see on Solid Gold, I'm just copying what they're doing. I'm not
Wow.
knowing what I'm doing. I'm just copying what they're doing. That's all I'm from
Wow.
from ballet to tap, jazz, all. Only thing that I was perfect in is my street dancing. And that's why Anita
Right.
said, "I got this song, I want you to choreograph this." So all my street dancing, 100%, if I'm doing it with the dancers or by myself on Solid
Yeah.
Gold, I did it myself, 100%. And
That's
so it
wonderful.
ended up going downhill, not coming out of it. And I ended up
Oh,
going up. I ended up being the only street dancer. Get this, in the 80s, only street dancer. The only show that was on was Fame, which I was on that because Alpha got me on that too. It was
that's right.
Fame and Solid Gold. That was the two main dance because you was on there. You was on hits.
I was
You was
on
on Solid Gold hits when I did that. Remember
yeah, I remember wait, what did you just say?
Solid Gold hits?
Yeah, Solid Gold, putting on the hits. Yeah,
You were
that's
on
what we
Solid Gold Hit, and I was a
Solid Gold.
judge. I was a judge.
What? Hmm,
So, because I did Solid Gold Hit and Solid Gold, I did both of them.
yeah, absolutely. I remember
Yeah, I
Solid Gold hit
remember that. I think I saw a clip of you dancing. It was
with
three of you
Richie.
guys,
Yeah,
and
Richie
I
and Mark.
and I was judging for you guys. So I was on both.
What?
Yes, yes, yes. And so I was up on top. So the moral of the story is, although things can go south and be bad, if you stick and stay
Yeah.
with your dream, you could go back up.
Yes.
So I ended up
Yes, sir.
being a solid gold dancer and becoming my
Uh-huh.
own star and my own
Right?
money and my own fame.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
who ended up winning out of the whole situation? I did.
Oh man,
So
did
that's my
absolutely. Man.
story. There's so many stories about solid gold, but that's the main one. That's the main story.
Awesome. So you are a self-taught man. That's fantastic. Now, even to this day, you don't even go into classes? You don't, I mean, you've already learned what you needed to learn, so you're just already there. You're like the guru now. But you know what? Your
Right
story gives hope to
now,
those. You can do what you want to do. If you have a goal, you
mhm,
can do that. Just doing it and don't stop. Right? Right?
right.
Wow.
Even if it's dark, you still do it. A lot of people give up because things aren't happening right away. Like,
Mm,
I give you an
yeah.
Easter egg. My wife and I uh, wrote a movie, and it's
Mm,
called "Going Back in Time," Born to
mhm.
Dance. Excuse me. And it's
Right?
technically Breakin' 3. Technically,
Wow. You're
um,
kidding.
I
You hear
took
that, Stu?
all I took all the stuff I took all the stuff substance from Breaking
Right.
2, and
Right.
created a whole. I wrote a whole script for a new movie. So it's basically like you, me, everybody. It's our kids
Right.
are
Right.
taking on our legacy. But
Yes.
there's a twist. The twist is, I know y'all you don't have an NDA. I ain't gonna tell you the whole thing, but the twist is, it's like Back to the Future. So the
Yeah.
kids have to go back to the 80s. I mean, they
Oh,
get pulled back to the 80s, have to learn street dancing in order to get back to their time. And that's
that's
the
cool.
that's the legits of it. But it's
That's
we
the
have
premise.
we have, we have three companies interested in it as we speak, right?
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
that's in the making.
In the works. And is that similar to what we were discussing before? Like that, maybe? Like, that's fantastic. Because you know what? You saw
Yeah.
with Shrimp right before yours. You see his whole like demonstration about Electric Boogaloo 3 and somebody's got to have the idea. You already had it done. What?
Well, I talked to David Zito and Shrimp's manager,
Okay.
and the
Okay.
reason why they didn't come up with Breaking 3, according to the management, uh, and don't quote me on this, but basically he said they could not come up with an agreement, David Zito and the producers or writers or whatever, and so
Right.
it kind of got squashed. And then Shabadoo passed away and all this other stuff.
Uh,
Um, with me, I didn't call it Breaking 3 because of copyrights and because of all that stuff, but
absolutely.
I changed the whole idea to make it work where there's a connection.
Hmm.
But
Right.
I put a little Hollywood twist in, like a Jumanji feel, a Back to the Future feel,
Right. Right.
and it's basically the kids from Breakin' now. So it's like a Stranger Thing type of feel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my my Easter egg in it, which I shared with you, which I don't mind. My wife said you shouldn't tell nobody. But
Oh.
my goal is, there's about 5 or 6 stars of kids that's in it.
Hmm.
And my hope is to get all the stars like Beyonce, Britney Spears, all their kids to
Hmm.
be the stars of the movie. So like
Right.
I want Ice-T's daughter, I want Ice-T daughter to be in the movie, to be
Which
one
will
of the
give
main characters, and
what
etc.
the parents have
So
done.
that's never been done before.
Right, right,
It's never been done before where someone got star kids like Mariah Carey's kids.
right, right,
Get people who are stars, get their kids to play lead
right,
roles for a movie.
right, right.
So,
And collectively, that's a brilliant
but
idea.
then we have a group called Ill Abilities.
Hmm.
And again, I'm giving you a lot of information. They're called Ill Abilities. They're handicapped breakdancers that we have on our roster, and they are amazing,
Now
amazing. So they're in the movie too. So
you're from Detroit, correct?
that's all I'm able to say about it. I can't say too
Okay,
much.
that's awesome. But there's a handicapped gentleman in Detroit that dances with the Detroit Lockers, and he comes out and he locks and he's in a wheelchair. He's fantastic. You should think about him too. You're
Well,
right there from Detroit.
when, when it comes out, you will know, because you know me. I'm opening doors because my goal is to take people like you, Shrimp especially, Poppin' Pete, Casper. I'm
Yeah.
getting everybody the first refusal, and
Hmm.
somehow, some way, it's gonna be a part, because it's part of adults, but I would say it's about 10% of adults, because in the beginning and the end, it's adults. The whole movie threads through the kids
Yes.
going through figuring out how to get back to their time, but they meet up
Right.
with their parents in the past. So when
Uh-huh.
they get pulled back to the 80s, they meet their
Yeah.
parents, and so now they're friends with their parents, and their parents don't know that that's their kids, and it's a whole
Wow.
cluster,
What a
a
fun,
trip.
what a fun concept. That's amazing. That's wonderful. And you
Yeah.
have people look. That's fantastic. Man, okay, Stu, we're gonna have to be in it. We're gonna have to do some stuff, pull some strings, be really nice to Cooley. That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start trying to wrap it up. I want to ask you, Cooley, any good words, any good thoughts, things that you're doing, and tying it up. Maybe a parable, something to give to these young ones coming up, to help them out. Our children. What would you say?
Our what I would say, and again, I don't want to preach. I just want to let them know. I'm soon to be 64, and thank God I don't look it. And the reason why, and the little Easter egg I want to give all these kids out there is: don't
Yeah.
drink, don't do drugs, don't smoke. It's a deep hole, and there's
Right?
nobody that I know has prosperous and became something big because of that.
Because of
Everybody
that.
that I know, 90% of people they died. They're no longer
Mhm.
with us. And that should be a lesson for all the
Right.
kids. Um, I know
Great one.
that it's a gateway. I know that, they hang out with friends. I know they try to be cool and all that stuff, but we never drink. My coolness was my
Right.
dancing. My coolness was my singing. I'm a composer.
Exactly.
I have songs out on YouTube. I have songs out on Spotify, and I make money off of songs that I write till this moment as we do. And I'm at 64 making songs that are doing well. But
Throw out
my
titles
point
for us.
is, say it again.
Oh, please throw out a couple titles for us and then keep going. A couple titles of
Okay,
your
I have one called my songs. I have one called Step Off. That's doing
okay,
very well.
step off.
I have one called Stay in Your Own Lane, or Stay in Your
Okay.
Lane. Um,
Wow.
one called Outcast. Outcast is basically being my age, and I'm outcast from the industry because of my age. That they're trying to say I
Wow.
can't do what all these young kids are doing. So it's
Mm,
Outcast.
that's
And
wonderful.
and then I would say Champion Within. So I have you could just go to Cooley Jaxson, and just Google my name, and it'll pop up. You'll see all the songs. I'm known more of a musician than a dancer now, because that's what I'm focusing
Yeah.
toward. You'll see it when you Google it.
Yeah. Still creative and wonderful things. Cooley, is there any last words you want to say to anybody else, or give a shout out maybe to your family before we conclude?
I like to give a shout out to. I like to give a shout out to you and Stu. I really think that's wonderful that you're doing this because
Yeah,
we need people have been trying to get me to do the same thing, but
yeah,
I we need more people like you guys to do this because the street dancing is a huge, huge, huge hidden legacy. If
mm,
the networks knew what we know, they would.
oh,
If they were smart, they would jump on it. And
right.
for you guys to start this now, it might even happen. So I give a shout out to you guys to giving me the opportunity as well as devoting your time to do this. So I applaud you.
And it's out of love, and it really is just me and a bunch of people that are my friends, and they all happen to be successful and talented just like yourself. So if you didn't do it, I'm going to say hi, Cooley's wife and Cooley's family. Hi, you guys, from us here. And we want to say thank you
Oh,
so much for joining us, Cooley. Everybody loved you. We're going to keep our eyes out for your music. And if you have anything else coming up, please come on the show and promote it. More power to you. Thank you so much, brother. It's good to see you again.
thank you.
Mm,
God
love
bless.
you.
Love you guys.
All right. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
You too.
Okay.